Welcome, welcome to a series on Friday Funda. And today we have come up with another exciting subject. Learn 12 most essential soft skill. And before that, I would like to request everyone to please put your hand on your heart for the ICI motto.
येष सुप्तेषु जागृति येष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Well, thank you. So, Prince, whether you are a small, medium practitioner or a part of any big firm, or maybe working in industry, but to grow in your career, soft skills are really important, or rather, I should say, is equally important as technical knowledge. So I can say it is an essential part of improving one's ability to work with others. And of course, it can have a positive influence on furthering or increasing in your career, and will be very helpful to attract and retain your clients, and also are maintaining in the relationships. So that is the intention of our today's webinar. And we have with us a very eminent personality, Rakesh Agarwal ji, MD of Image Consulting Institute. Sir, I welcome you at the platform of WIRC. And really, thank you so much for agreeing to be with us today evening. Also, I recognize the presence of our coordinator, CA Samrat Shukla. So before inviting Rakesh ji, now may I request to Samrat for the quick introduction of speaker. Over to you, Samrat.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes.
So, Mr. Rakesh Agarwal have 35 years of experience in launching and establishing new industries in India. He is Boston University graduate. He brought organized car rental in India. He launched the world's first telephone search engine called Ask Me. He was one of the top 5 finalists in India's Young Business Achievers. He was awarded in 1996. He operated as managing director of Franklin Institute from 2000 to 2009. Then he started his venture, Image Consulting and Soft Skills Training. He has been advocate of strengthening self-image and raising self-esteem for 35 years and guided thousands of people to overcome this issue. He has been instrumental in over 5,000 people in getting qualification in image consulting and soft skill training and launching their own practice to help their clients to overcome poor self-image and low self-esteem by training and mentoring. His mission in life is to reach millions of people and help them to fulfill their dreams by overcoming poor self-image and self-esteem. He is a co-author in book named First Impression, Lasting Impression. It was published by Times Group. He has already mentored thousands of people to start their own businesses. I request Mr. Agarwal to
Thank you. Thank you, Samrat. I recognize the presence of Secretary WIRC. Saurabh Ajmera. Our chairman is, I think, busy in some other meeting. But since secretary is there, definitely would like to hear from desk of secretary about so many initiative has been taken by the WIRC since the charge has been taken in the Feb 25th. So over to you, Saurabh.
Thank you, Sweta ma'am. First of all, I like to compliment you for organizing such a wonderful program. On generally, we are on Friday Fundas, we are taking some offbeat topics. And this is the regular program which we are hosting at WRC. Apart from that, friends, as we enter towards the 75th year, as ICA, our existence, we have planned 75 programs, especially to celebrate our 75th year foundation as chartered accountant. And apart from that, we are also doing lots of activities. Upcoming Saturday and Sunday, we have various programs, more than 8 programs we have lined up. So please join us all the programs which you feel important for your area of practice or your knowledge update. And friends, this year, especially we have completed one program that is Startup Sphere. It is related to complete startup ecosystem, and that we have hosted at Geo Center, in which complete ecosystem of startup was available. We were having more than 100 exhibitors from various different fields that include large portfolio companies also. So we are trying to update all our members with different kind of knowledge which is required as the need of the hour. And that theme also for this year is like that, where we are saying pride, where P stand for perform, then R for relearning, I for innovation, because the change is inevitable. We have to change ourselves, we have to update our technology skills. And then uh, uh, I and D for distinguish yourself. We have to distinguish yourself because we have to create some specialization. And then E for enrich our ecosystem, because we are in the world of ESG, where we are discussing about the social audits. And that 3P is very important: profit, planet, and people. But we have to think first planet, then people, and then profit. So likewise at WRC, we are doing all programs. We are doing tech series on every Wednesday. Sorry, every Thursday we are doing tech series. Or every Wednesday we are doing wow series for the women empowerment and all these things. So I request each one of you, please, to be participating in all the activities of WRC. Thank you, Sweta ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. A lot of initiative under your and our chairman leaderships. Really, thank you so much for making aware all of us. Thank you. So now I would request Rakesh ji, please, the whole platform is yours now.
All right, good evening. Thank you very much, everyone here, all the organizers, people who have joined this program on Friday evening, Friday Funda, and that's an excellent name. And like Saurabh said, that learning is very important, and that is what we are going to be talking about today. In fact, one of the things that I am going to show you towards the end of the presentation is probably might shock you. I mean, a lot of things which we are talking about might shock you, but these are the most important aspects of today's life. Things are changing completely. Things are changing so drastically, and I'm sure we are all aware of it. And there was a time when we were in the industrialization age. I mean, there was the industry age, and then from there 20, 30 years ago, we moved to the information age, where everything was about information. The more sense you can make out of information. So it didn't matter what do you have, as long as you had a nice, great mind and you were able to do things, you had the maximum value. Well, we have now shifted to what is known as the communication age, because everything is about communication today. How do you communicate with people? And interpersonal skill is the skill which is going to have maximum premium in times to come. If there is one skill, अगर एक skill है जिसके लिए सबसे ज्यादा कीमत होगी, सबसे ज्यादा value होगी, वो होगी interpersonal skill. And interpersonal skill starts with communication, because no matter what job you do, no matter what you are doing, अगर हम उसमें से इंटरपर्सनल स्किल हटा देते हैं तो रेस्ट ऑफ योर जॉब कैन बी ऑटोमेटेड, एंड लेट मी टेल यू, इट विल बी ऑटोमेटेड. So the AI that is coming, the robotics, now we have chat GPT, we have so many things coming, and any job which doesn't require soft skill is going to be automated. So this is something which is, these are statistics from top institutions in the world. It's not something which I am saying. So I'm very excited about this session today because my aim is to teach as many people, guide as many people. Many of you here must be very learned people. Many of you may have far more experience than even me. But in this field, I am proud to say that I have probably more experience than very few people in the world in terms of having mentored thousands of people to become soft skill trainers, to become image consultants, and then guide millions of people to overcome poor self-image, low self-esteem, which is actually the biggest pandemic in this world. अगर आप actually देखते हैं तो इस दुनिया की जो सबसे बड़ी बीमारी है, जो सबसे बड़ी disease है, वो है poor self-image, poor self-esteem, low self-doubt. 85% people suffer from it, and that is where soft skill image management comes into the hand. So I'm going to start my PPT now. I would request that if you have any questions, if you have any queries, please keep them till the end. You can also put them in the Q&A box. So when I start with taking questions, I will come there. And my suggestion is that if you have a question, please do not put it in the chat. Please put it in the Q&A box. Because in chat, what happens is that sometimes if I ask something, a lot of people say yes, no, whatever, your question might get lost. But if it is in the queue, I'm sure you know this, you must be attending so many webinars, but I'm just saying it once again. So I'll just start. Let me just share my screen and we will start with the presentation. So I hope all of you can see this presentation.
Yes.
If I could just get confirmation from
Yes, sir, we can.
All right, great. So let's start with the presentation now. I would request you that you give your full attention, because this is something which I can promise you is going to be life-changing. Because today, what I am going to present to you is very, very easily applicable, very easily implementable in your life. You can start implementing it just after the webinar is over. And if you do that, you will see that there is going to be a tremendous change in you, which you will notice, others will notice. So without much ado, let's start. So facts, everyone needs to know. Number one, what are soft skills? So this word is becoming very, very popular from last many months, many years, for so to speak, largely from last 15, 20 years. So soft skills are a combination of people skills, social skills, communication skills, character or personality traits, attitudes, social and emotional intelligence. They are no longer desirable skills. It is not something that you desire to have. It is something that you have to have. They are imperative skills. They are differentiator skills. What makes one person different than other? What is your edge, that X factor that we talk about? Those are soft skills. They are increasingly becoming the hard skills of today's competitive environment. Now, so soft skill word was originated as an opposite of hard skills. So what is hard skill? Hard skills is our degree, diploma, our qualification, our technical knowledge. These are all called hard skills. And that is why the word was coined soft skills, which is the opposite of hard skills. But now they are becoming the hard skills of today. So like most of the places, the situation today is that people say, कोई बात नहीं, अगर technical knowledge नहीं भी है, वो हम सिखा सकते हैं, but soft skills is important. Now, this is an astounding research. Research conducted by the Carnegie Foundation and Stanford Research Center. And mind you, these are two premium institutions in the world. And that research has concluded that 85% of job success, or actually 85% of success in any field, comes from having well-developed soft skills. And only 15% comes from technical skills and knowledge, your hard skills. So your hard skills contribute only to 15% in your success, because millions of people have the same hard skills that you may have. However, the soft skills are the differentiator factor. So some hard facts about soft skills. A study conducted by Harvard University noted that 80% of achievements in career are determined by soft skills and only 20% by hard skills. 94% of recruiting professionals believe that an employee with stronger soft skills has a better chance of being promoted to a leadership position as compared to an employee with more experience but weaker soft skills. By 2030, it is predicted that most of the job will get replaced by AI, by robotics. And out of all the jobs which will remain, 2/3 of them will be soft skill intensive occupation. So what this means is that if someone does not develop their soft skills, they may not have a job by 2030, because they will find that their job has got automated. Now the question is, this webinar claims 12 soft skills and we have 2 hours. Can you really learn 12 soft skills in 2 hours? The obvious answer is no. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि आप 12 सॉफ्ट स्किल 2 घंटे में सीखें? नहीं हो सकता है. So then why are we here? Because it takes months and years of learning and practicing to master those soft skills. But today, in each of the 12 essential soft skills, I am going to teach you or tell you 1 or 2 core concepts. कि वो जो पूरी एक सॉफ्ट स्किल है उसका सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जिस्ट क्या है, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज क्या है. And if that alone you implement, it will change your life. That's my promise to you today. And if you implement, I urge you to implement, and I can guarantee you someday, it could be tomorrow, it could be after 1 year, it could be after 6 months, you will turn around and say that yes, this webinar that I attended has helped me to a large extent to change my life. I would also tell you, go and teach this to people in your family, to your clients, to your customers, to your colleagues, because understand, the best way to learn is to teach. And we will also talk about that later. So let's start with the 12 most essential soft skills. We don't have much time, but I will try to do full justice to what we are going to be talking about today. So the first essential skill, and this is the biggest, because it has many things into it, is communication skill. I already told you that we are entering into the communication age today. Everything is about communication. Your communication, today if you ask 100 people that what is one skill that you need to improve on, 95% people will say communication skills. Because communication skills का कोई end नहीं है कि अभी मैं सब कुछ सीख गया हूँ, I don't need to learn anything more, because there's so much into it. This is like an ocean. But I have taken out the few pieces that is most important. So what are the major forms of communication? Visual. In visual, what do we cover? Clothes, body language, which is also known as non-verbal. And then, of course, you have vocal and verbal communication. The problem is most of the time when we say that we have weak communication skill, or we talk about importance of communication skill, what we forget is that 80% of communication, my friend, is visual. Before you start speaking, it's done. Because people look at you, what you are wearing, your body language, and it's just done. Lot of people discount appearance. They think, oh, appearance does not matter. Let me tell you today, Appearance matter more than anything else. And why? There is a reason for it. So the first soft skill that we are going to talk about is clothes, which is also actually a soft skill, demeanor, the way you present yourself. Now, I'm sure you have all heard of the word first impression. Now, we all carry certain skills, experience, ability. Every single one of you attending this webinar, you have some skills. You have, I'm assuming all of you are chartered accountants, so you have that skill, I mean, which is a phenomenal skill. You have some abilities, you have some experience, varied experience. Some of you might have 1 year experience, some of you may have 20-year experience. But the problem is, when we meet people, no matter what we may have, they judge us on the basis of what meets the eye. जो उनको दिखाई देता है उसके बेसिस पे they create what is known as a first impression. And research has proven that people form a first impression about you within 3 to 5 seconds. And you just can't escape that. Like initially it was mentioned, I am the author of the most exhaustive book on first impression in the country. And first impression is a fascinating subject. The problem is, or the point is, that within that 3 to 5 seconds, that first impression that they create, on the basis of that, they, in their own mind, decide about your values, your authority, your trustworthiness, your personality, your intelligence, your economic background. They decide, my friend. They don't think, they don't guess. On the basis of that first impression, they decide in their mind everything about you, and how they will deal with you in future depends on that. And first impression is intuitive. Just hota hai, is God given. Because in the ancient age, only because of this you survived. When you looked at a wild animal, you had to immediately decide whether it is going to be dangerous for you or not. Otherwise, you could have got killed. So, whether you are educated, you are not educated, everybody forms a first impression. अगर आप ये try करना चाहते हो, I always give this example to people. Suppose you go to meet someone in some office building, and when you come back, there is a watchman there. In all probability, he is not educated. In all probability, he may have never heard of the term first impression. But even he forms a first impression. अगर आप उससे एक सवाल पूछो कि मुझे चर्च गेट जाना है, यहां से मैं कैसे जाऊं? And try this, I am telling you. Without asking you, he will tell you based on your impression on him how to go there by auto, taxi or bus. Or by Ola or Uber. He decides in his mind. ये टैक्सी में जाने वाला लगता नहीं है. Why? On the basis of first impression. There is numerous research. You go for a job interview, there are thousands of research which has proven that whether you will get the job or not, the basic decision happens within the first 10 seconds. After that, it's all detail. After that, they are just trying to find ways to prove the first impression that they have already created. And this first impression, my friend, is largely created on the basis of what they can see. Because your first impression is created even before you get a chance to open your mouth. So clothes is the biggest part of creating this first impression. Because when people look at, आप किसी को भी देखो, you meet somebody, you look at them. What is the maximum thing that you see? Maximum that you see is clothes. However, also understand appearance is the most controversial subject in the world, but we will make some sense of it today. So a lot of time people are, oh, kapdon se kya hota hai? Can clothes alone make me successful? Are you trying to say that if my clothes are great, I am going to be successful? Of course not. Clothes cannot take the place of knowledge, skills, or effort for success. But let me ask you a question. When was the last time you left home without wearing any clothes? Any one of you. Did you ever leave home without wearing any clothes? No. So what it means is कि if you have to wear something, might as well wear what will help you in achievement of your goals. जब आपको कपड़े पहनने ही हैं, तो अगर आप थोड़ा ध्यान देके ऐसे पहनते हो which will help you in achievement of your goal, which will create fantastic first impression. Appearance, clothing is a huge subject. I mean, we teach clothing in 6 months. But I will tell you one tip today, and you try it from tomorrow and you will see what a difference it will make. And what is that tip? Always, through your clothing, through accessories, create a contrast up and close to the face. This is the most simplest and incredible tip about clothing. Create a contrast up and close to the face. Understand, when you are talking to someone, you are chartered accountant, you talk to business owners, you talk to companies, you talk to bankers, whenever you are talking to someone, and for that matter, anyone, what you are saying is important. So you want other people to pay their attention to you. You speak from your mouth, obviously. So you want people to keep looking here. You don't want them to look at your legs or your hands or your belly or your back or your any other place. You want them to look here. You want their attention to be plastered over here, up and close to the face. क्योंकि अगर यहाँ से उनका ध्यान हटेगा, तो जो आप बोल रहे हो वो नहीं सुनेंगे. मतलब शायद physically सुनेंगे, but it is not going to go inside. The only skill that helps in this is to create a contrast. Why? Attention is always drawn to the contrast. That is psychology. आप कहीं पे भी जाओ, किसी भी रूम में एंटर करो, कहीं पे भी जाओ, जहां पे एक कॉन्ट्रास्ट है, एक डार्क कलर, लाइट, immediately your attention will first go there. And the attention always goes to the lighter color in the contrast first. So अगर it is black and white, आपकी white पे नजर अटक जाएगी. If it is dark blue, light yellow, आपके वो light yellow पे नजर, ये आप इसको कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, ये अपने आप होता है. So which means what? Which means that whenever you are in an important occasion, a meet, वैसे तो हमेशा ही होना चाहिए, but still, अगर आप घर में हैं, पिकनिक पे हैं, वो ठीक है, but whenever you are in a work situation, in an important situation, let me give you one tip today. और आप ये notice करना कल से. Always wear darker colors in the bottom and lighter or brighter colors in the upper part. Because lighter color draws attention. Observe. Suppose you meet somebody in a party or in a work situation, and let's say they are wearing a cream color trouser and a dark color shirt. I can guarantee you that your eyes will keep going down to their trousers. Why? Because that light color draws the attention. You have to make sure that the people whom you meet, their attention is towards the up. The only way to do that is to have lighter and brighter color in the upper part. Create a contrast near your face like this, in this area. How you can do that? You can do it by using contrasting tie, scarf, accessories, makeup, jewelry for women. The whole idea is create a contrast here so that people's eyes are drawn there and they stick there and they are focusing. Ever see a president of a country, a top news reporters giving news, giving an address, and you will always see that they will have a white shirt, dark suit, red tie, or dark blue tie, or something like that. In something or the other, there is a great contrast over here. And I'll show you some pictures which can just give you some idea of how it is done. So you have, you see the first picture, the second picture, the third one with scarf, if you don't want to wear a tie. There are some women pictures also. So these are all fantastic ways to create a contrast up and close to your face. So be mindful of this. The biggest thing in this world is to be mindful. अगर आप इस चीज के बारे में aware हैं, तो कल से जब आप ड्रेसअप होंगे किसी इंपॉर्टेंट ओकेजन के लिए या बिजनेस के लिए, मीटिंग के लिए, किसी भी चीज के लिए, आपका ध्यान जाएगा Do I have an attention here? Do I have a contrast here? Also, it is very important that nothing about your appearance should be distracting. So मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ, ये भी आप नोटिस कीजिएगा. कोई है, सपोज इट्स अ मैन वेयरिंग ट्राउजर एंड शर्ट, पॉकेट में रुमाल है, रुमाल थोड़ी सी बाहर निकली, तो वो एक ऐसे थोड़ा सा व्हाइट ऐसे निकला हुआ होता है. I am telling you, you meet a person like this, your eyes will keep going to that one because it draws attention. Skin, if like especially for many women or many even men, I mean, don't show your skin, because the more you show the skin, the attention goes to the skin, because as compared to your clothes, it creates a contrast. Now, people, you will always find, I mean, this is फॉर्चुनेट और अनफॉर्चुनेट, आप कभी भी ध्यान देना कि जो बहुत फेयर लोग हैं, बहुत गोरे जो होते हैं, it is very easy to put attention up and close to their face, because with that white skin and dark hair, they have a natural contrast on their face. So as a result, what happens? Your eyes just go there and sticks there. So the basic tip, create an attention, create a focal point, create a contrast up and close to your face, so that people's attention is drawn there. Now, so this is one tip from clothes, which was our first skill. So second skill, we talk about body language. Body language is an extremely, extremely important, I wouldn't even say skill, because ये कुछ ऐसा नहीं है कि आप सीख सकते हैं और कुछ आप कर सकते. You can just be aware of it. And if you are aware of it, you will see the difference that it makes in your life. Because, you know, let me tell you one thing, my friend. I told you earlier that 80% of the communication is visual. How important is visual? Let me give you another example. One of the most basic human necessity, जो हमारी एक जरूरत है, जिसके बिना हम survive नहीं कर सकते, is food. Most of us eat at least 3 times in a day just to survive. I mean, many of us eat much more and we get overweight or something like that, but most of us, food is a basic necessity, right? Have you ever realized food, which is a basic necessity, if it doesn't look good, you decide in your mind it is not good and you don't even eat it? मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ, I see a lot of women here in this webinar. I always say that all the mothers, sisters, and wives of this world must have told millions of times to their husbands, sons, and parents, खा के तो देखो अच्छा है. But आप बोलते हैं मुझे देख के ही कैसे लगा? I just don't know. Just imagine food, which is a basic necessity, gets ignored if it doesn't look good. You, my friend, are not a basic necessity for anyone in this world. What makes you think you will not get ignored? So your clothes, your body language is 80% of the communication. There is research that only body language is importance in the overall communication is 55%. So I'm going to give you some tips on body language today, some key tips. Of course, like I said, it's a huge subject. So 7 powerful body language tips, which you can implement immediately. Number 1, to boost your confidence, assume a power pose. What is a power pose? See, body language works in 2 different ways. Body language actually क्या है? Body language is कि जो आपके अंदर हो रहा है, whatever is your feeling, whatever emotions that you are going through, your body shows. अगर आप झूठ बोल रहे हो, बॉडी आपकी बता देगी कि आप झूठ बोल रहे हो, अगर कोई उसको पढ़ने वाला है. अगर आप नर्वस हो तो आपकी you will start twitching, you will start doing. So body is like, so there is a saying that what you do is so powerful, I can't even hear what you are saying. अगर body language सही नहीं है, तो verbal words are not believable. Somebody tells you, oh, I really like you a lot, and अगर उसके चेहरे पे smile नहीं है, you will not even notice what they said. But it also works in the reverse. कि अगर जो अंदर की चीज है वो बॉडी लैंग्वेज बाहर दिखा देती है। तो अगर आप पर्पसफुली कोई बॉडी लैंग्वेज मूवमेंट करते हो तो वो आपको अंदर से भी चेंज करता है। So this first one came out from a fantastic research. Boost your confidence, assume a power. What is a power pose? पावर को जब आप देखो क्रिकेट मैच, फुटबॉल मैच, एनीथिंग दैट यू सी, जब कोई जीतता है, कोई गोल करता है, कोई सेंचुरी बनाता है, व्हाट डू दे डू? Or they say yeah, or they say wow. I mean, you know what, that's called a power pose, like a winning pose. वो अपने आप होता है, बट आप वो जानबूझ करके कर सकते हो। If you have to go for an important meeting, you have to go for a job interview, you teach this to your kids, teach this to your family members, your colleagues, your employees. आप नर्वस हो, आपको डर लग रहा है, you think what will happen, how it will happen. I am telling you today, 1 minute before the meeting, go to the toilet somewhere, wherever, and stand for 30 seconds like this, or say yes, I will do it. You do it. I am telling you, you will start feeling confident from inside. So to boost your confidence, assume a power pose. To increase participation, look like you are listening. When people are talking, and we will talk about listening separately, when people are talking to you, lean towards them, focus them, do change your, like nod your head so that they understand that you are listening. That's very important. Otherwise, people get put off. To encourage collaboration, remove physical barriers. Most people don't understand this. ठीक है, आप फैमिली में कैजुअल कॉन्वर्सेशन चल रहा है, वो एक अलग बात है, बट आप एक किसी से बात कर रहे हो, फ्रेंड के साथ बैठे हो, या कोई कलीग से बात हो रही है, एम्प्लॉई से बात हो रही है, एम्प्लॉई आया है, ही इज नर्वस, ही हैज सम कंप्लेंट, समथिंग और द अदर, और क्लाइंट के साथ बैठे हो, और इनकम टैक्स में बैठे हो, कहीं पे भी बैठे, हम नॉर्मली क्या करते हैं, जैसे सपोज अगर मैं ये पानी का ग्लास है और आपसे मैं सपोज 1 to 1 बात कर रहा हूँ, और मैं बीच बीच में ऐसे पानी पीता जाता हूँ, तो क्या होता है, आई एम ब्रिंगिंग अ फिजिकल बैरियर बिटवीन यू एंड मी अगेन। दिस बैरियर ब्रेक्स द कनेक्शन। अगर किसी से कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट बात हो रही है तो चाय कॉफी बाद में पियो। डोंट कीप ब्रिंगिंग दैट कप और दैट ग्लास लाइक दिस while you are talking, because every time you do this, there is a break in the connection. Number 4, to improve your speech, use your hand. What am I doing? I'm moving my hand, gestures. It's very important, because unless people see that, I mean, you will sound dead if you don't have gestures, if you don't have hand movements. To learn the truth, watch people's feet. This is a mind-blowing tip which most people don't even know, and they will not give. I told you earlier कि जब कोई झूठ बोलता है तो उसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज से पता चल जाता है. From his eyes, from the nose, they start pitching, they start break their eye contact, they start looking at each other. But अभी क्या हुआ है? Many people have studied about body language, right? There are so many YouTube videos, books, and also they become smart. They said, okay, when I lie, I am going to control my body. I am going to be conscious about my body language, like spies and so many people that you think they are experts in not revealing things by their body language. They have practiced it. But you know what happens? There is a fact कि आपकी बॉडी का जो भी हिस्सा, whatever your body part is farthest from your brain, जो आपसे ब्रेन से सबसे दूर है, उसमें आपका सबसे कम कंट्रोल. So what is farthest from your brain is your feet. So लोग बाकी जगह फिर भी कंट्रोल कर लेते हैं, if they are expert, पांव को नहीं कर सकते. So what happens? Your legs will give away. I mean, they will twitch. You will start folding them, unfolding them. And you know what? In some of the top companies today, and especially lot of police administration like FDA, CIA, and things like that, when they are interrogating anyone, or in top companies when there is interview, the interview is happening, the latest trend is that people use glass top table, or sometimes there is no table. The interviewer sitting is here in the chair and the people are sitting in front on the chair. Why? Because they want to see their feet. To sound authoritative, keep your voice down. This is contradictory, right? हम ऐसा सोचते हैं कि हम बहुत तेज आवाज से चिल्ला के कुछ बोलेंगे तो मेरी अथॉरिटी होगी, ऐसा नहीं है. The minute you raise your voice, you lose others. The more calm you are, the more simple and assertive language you speak, and we will talk about assert. I'm going to spend maximum time on communication skills. It shows more authority as compared to when you are shouting. I mean, my personal rule is that when somebody starts shouting, it only means that now really they don't have anything meaningful to say. And of course, to improve your memory, uncross your arms and legs. If you sit like this, if any of you are sitting like this right now, you will not really, this thing will not get into your mind. You can't sit like this, it's a closed posture. So if you really want to learn, you want to improve your memory, you want to retain what you learn, open up. See, the more you open up, your even subconscious mind think that yes, the information has to go in, because body language has everything to do with subconscious mind. And now, let's come to vocal and verbal communication. However, visual is 80%, but vocal and verbal is also important. 20% is also important, right? And why not? You must have that 1% also towards you. मतलब अगर आपको लाइफ में आगे बढ़ना है, जीतना है, सुपर सक्सेसफुल होना है, तो आप कोई एक भी चीज चांस के लिए क्यों छोड़ोगे? Have everything on your side. So vocal and verbal communication. So let us understand, we already talked about communication. Hey, so how you communicate, my friend, is everything. And most people, what they don't realize, I mean, communication, जब हम तुरंत बोलते हैं तो दिमाग में क्या आता है? Talking, ये वो बातचीत, सुनना and all that. But the most important aspect of communication is what you ask, questions. हमेशा याद रखना दुनिया में, any communication between two people is controlled by the person who is asking the question. बचपन में क्या होता था? टीचर, माँ बाप, क्या हुआ एग्जाम में, ऐसे क्यों हुआ, क्या हुआ, पढ़ते नहीं हो, तुम क्या करते रहते हो दिन भर, जो भी क्वेश्चन पूछता है ना उसकी अथॉरिटी. The biggest skill in communication is questioning. And of course, listening is very important. But आप एक चीज समझो, मैं अगर किसी से कुछ बात कर रहा हूं, जब तक मैं उससे कुछ पूछूंगा नहीं, वो कुछ बोलेगा नहीं, तो वो कुछ बोलेगा नहीं तो मैं सुनूंगा क्या? So listening will happen once somebody says something, right? So I am going to talk a little bit about questioning here. And this is again something you can immediately start applying. And for your profession, though, it is like extremely important. It's important for everyone, but it's already important for you as well. So power of question. Learn. Not only, so through questions, you can learn so much that you cannot even imagine. So I will tell you, and I am very proud of this fact, and you can also, it just requires practice, not that I was like born brilliant or something like that, but understand one thing. I have an ability, and I am very proud of it, कि मैं फ्लाइट में कहीं पे किसी से मिलूं, कोई बिजनेस गेट टुगेदर में, पार्टी में, wherever, I can talk to a person about anything, about what they do, even if I have zero knowledge about it. But I can have a conversation with that person for 10 to 15 minutes or even more, and they will not even know that I have zero knowledge about that subject. This is a skill. And this is a skill which is so valuable. And this is one of the fastest way to learn, because learning is very important. And I'll give you an example here. And most people think, अरे मैं तो इसको जानता नहीं हूँ, मैं इसके बारे में क्या बात करूंगा, मुझे इस इंडस्ट्री की कोई नॉलेज नहीं है, मुझे ये नहीं है. Then आप तो you meet so many clients who are from so many different industries, and you have to know about what they do, how do they do it, what are the different dynamics, what are the matrices, and you use this what I am telling you today, and you will, I'll just explain this with an example. And you will be amazed the power of this. So I'll tell, so what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to ask an obvious question, learn through question during conversation. See, because every time they answer a question that you have asked, they are actually teaching you about what they do. So if you are careful, you can learn and then build next question based on what you learn. So what that means is, I'll explain to you. The best I can explain is with an example. So I studied in US in Boston, and when I came back from there in 1986, my elder brother, he used to live in Mysore, and he had a very large aluminum factory there. They used to make aluminum extrusion. And mind this example, and you can use this in any way. I mean, you can apply this to so many places. So I went to visit his factory because obviously I have gone to Mysore, so I'm supposed to go and visit his factory. And I had no knowledge about aluminum industry, and I don't like, my personal passion and interest is not in manufacturing industry. It is more in the service industry, but I had no knowledge. So my brother called his chief engineer, one Mr. Banerjee, and said that, "Jara saab ko factory dikhate." So I went on the factory round with him. And after 45 minutes, when we came back, he told my brother कि साहब आप तो बोल रहे थे कि इनको कुछ मालूम नहीं है एल्यूमिनियम के बारे में, बट इनको तो बड़ी जबरदस्त नॉलेज है और इन्होंने मुझे कई चीजों का सलूशन दे दिया है हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स. My brother was also surprised. But you know what happened? You can do it. Each one of you can do it. It's so simple. I'll explain to you. It requires practice. It's not going to happen just like that, but I practiced it. So this is how the conversation went. आप सोचो इसके बाद. So obviously aluminum factory है, तो अल्यूमिनियम ही बना रहे होंगे ना, ये तो कोई भी सोच, ये तो कॉमन सेंस है. इसके लिए मुझे अल्यूमिनियम के बारे में जानने की क्या जरूरत है? कोई जरूरत नहीं. So when we started the trip round to the factory, I asked him a question. How much aluminum do you make every month? Do I need to know anything about aluminum industry to know this question? No, they are making aluminum. I am asking a normal question. So he said 400 tons. So my next question, again an obvious question. How much can you make every month? अब ये तो ऑब्वियस है ना कि हर जगह की एक कैपेसिटी होती है. वो बोल रहे हैं 400 टन बना रहे हैं. मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, आप कितना बना सकते हो? He said we can make 700 tons. Then my next question, I still don't have to know anything about aluminum. My next question is, then why are you not making 700 tons? And then he says, well, we have labor problem, we have electricity problem, we have raw material problem. So then my next question, why do you have that problem? And then he started explaining so many things about it. So whenever he said something, my next question was based on his answer. He said, well, 5-10 hours a day, there is no electricity here. So then my question was, but then can you not do anything about it? And then he says, yes, we can have generator, but there are issues. Okay, what are the issues? So the point that I am trying to make is that in half an hour, I left him in a situation where he thinks I have tremendous knowledge about that industry. I didn't. I learned from him. I have this ability, and I'm not saying this to boast about. I'm only saying you can develop it. That I can, somebody who meets me, they have read a book. I have not read that book, but I can talk to them about that book in half an hour. They will not even get to know that I have not read that book. Why? Because he knows, right? I'm going to learn from him during the conversation. All I have to do is I have to be good in asking the question. So question is the key communication skills. Questions can change emotional state. एक इंसान अंदर से कैसा फील कर रहा है, आप सिर्फ अपने क्वेश्चन से बदल सकते हो. मैं आपको छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूं. Go and ask anybody. आप ट्राई करो घर में, सपोज यू हैव पेरेंट, I mean, your dad or your mom or your grandmother or granddad or whatever. Just go and ask them a question. What makes you really happy? And you will see a smile will appear on their face. And they will start thinking about all happy moments. And they will say, when you come home and touch my feet, I feel very happy. And when I see all of you respecting me so much, I feel very happy. And when this happens, and when that happens, and when Chotu comes and does this thing with me, I feel very happy. क्योंकि आपके क्वेश्चन ने उनको मजबूर कर दिया है अच्छी मेमोरीज के बारे में सोचने के लिए. The same person, after 2 minutes, you ask a question, what makes you sad? And you will suddenly see that their facial expression will change, their body will stoop, and there will be kind of like a lost feeling in their eyes. And why? Because your question has now forced them to start visualizing sad moments. So it's not that he was sad or he was happy. What change was brought in by that one simple question? Now you ask yourself, do you ask questions to yourself? Of course. Most of the time you don't say it out loud, but there is a question, and I am telling you today, the questions that you ask yourself silently, they control your destiny, my friend. Change the questions, your life will change. I'm guaranteeing you today. So let me give you an example. Somebody loses a job and gets depressed and sad and goes and have like a couple of drinks and then like gets angry on somebody, shouts on somebody, or something or the other happens and things like that. Now you will say that this happened because he lost his job. No. It happened because after he lost his job, he asked himself a question. The question was, why did it happen to me? Why does it always happen to me? Something like that. Supposing if he would have changed that question, and if he would have asked, what opportunity might be waiting for me now? What good might come out of me losing my job today? You will see that person is going to be in a totally different tangent. And what's the difference? The difference is the question that you asked. So change the question. Next time something bad happens with you, I God forbid, but it does happen, right? For all of us. Ask yourself. I mean, you get late in traffic, instead of getting frustrated, this thing, whatever, then what will happen? Do you cause harm to anyone else? Does the traffic is going to clear? No, you only harm yourself. So what you should do, instead ask this question, oh, now that I'm going to be late, what can I do? The point is that question, that silent question that you are going to ask is going to change it. And number three, the words that you use. That word means something. That word changes your emotional state. And most of the time, people use words which are not fitting for that occasion. And I'm telling you, be mindful. ये सारी चीजें अब आप सोचो, आपके एक दिमाग में आ गई है, कल से जब आप जो कर रहे हो, बात कर रहे हो, जरा सोचो कि मैं क्या करूं या क्या कर रही. I have heard people, आपने भी सुना होगा, एक गाड़ी में जा रहे हैं, एक ट्रैफिक फंस गया, 15 मिनट से गाड़ी मूव नहीं हुई, and people will say, you know, pathetic situation is. And you know, suddenly the mood of everyone in the car will be like that, pathetic. My friend, think about what I am telling you today. In COVID, thousands and thousands of people died. That is pathetic. So many people die in road accident every day. That is pathetic. What is happening in Himachal, Uttarakhand now with that flood, that is pathetic. Getting stuck in a traffic, my friend, at best can be uncomfortable. So, आप जितना strong word use करोगे, उतनी strong वो situation बन जाएगी आपके दिमाग में, because the words that you use changes your emotional state. Use a word. I mean, how can be getting stuck in a traffic और आपको नाश्ता 5 मिनट लेट मिला या रेस्टोरेंट में वेटर ने 15 मिनट खाना लेट गया? How can that be pathetic? Or a word, it can just be inconvenient. Simple word. Less harm. less power. It can be uncomfortable. So be very mindful of the words that you use and the questions that you ask yourself. And I'm going to tell you 4 or 5 examples. So assertive language, assertive, cloud. Cloud हम किसको बोलते हैं? जुगाड़. You know, एक उसका प्रभाव, एक उसका influence, इसका बहुत cloud है. You know, that is what we say. So conversational cloud. आप अपनी बातचीत में कैसे एक power ला सकते हो? आप अपनी बातचीत में कैसे एक assertiveness ला सकते हो? Not aggressive, assertive. Don't be passive. Don't be argumentative, but be assertive. Never let any meek, apologetic, or hesitant word come from. And I'll give you 4 examples. I can guarantee you each one of you have heard them, have used them so many times. So change. Example 1. Somebody calls in your office, somebody picks up the phone or at your home and they say something and you say, well, I will have to ask someone about that. ये मुझे किसी से पूछना पड़ेगा. What is the feeling you are giving to the other person? I mean, I am no one. मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं हूँ. I'll have to ask. Change. Start saying like, I will be glad to check with accounts and get back to you. Or with admin, or with this, or with that, or I will be glad to check with Ritesh and get back to you. Or whatever. This is power. I will be glad to check back with accounts and get back to you. It's a definite answer. The feeling that you leave on other guys, this guy is in control. When will that be ready? ये तो आप ट्राई कर लेना कल से. आप कुछ लॉन्ड्री में देने जाओ, गाड़ी रिपेयर के लिए देने जाओ, स्कूटर रिपेयर के लिए देने जाओ, वॉच रिपेयर के लिए, एनीथिंग दैट यू वांट, टेलर को कुछ सिलने देने के लिए जाओ. वी आस्क, व्हेन विल दैट बी रेडी? ये कब तक हो जाएगा भैया? I mean, come on, put yourself in driver's seat, and I'm telling you, try this, and you will see the difference. Will you please have it ready for me by Tuesday? Or Wednesday or Thursday. आप बताओ उसको कि भाई तब तक तैयार करते हैं. And you will see in 90% cases people will say yes. And this is something which baffles me more than anything else. People will ask people, may I ask your name? I mean, what are you talking about? You don't need permission to ask somebody's name. Ask, what's your name? Then next one, I'll try to get back to you this week. When you say I'll try, this is again, what is trying? You know what is trying? Let's do one thing here if you want. Although we have a lot of things to cover, but I'll still do this. And trying, you should always remember this in your life. I'm sure all of you are sitting somewhere, yeah, in some chair, some car, somewhere in your house, on sofa or whatever. Now, actually do this, what I am telling. Can you try to get up from your chair? Now, I can't see you, but I can tell you, don't get up. Try to get up. And you will see that you can't try to get up. You either get up or you don't get up. So, trying is you are building a bridge for failure. कि अगर मैं बाद में नहीं हुआ तो मैं तो बोल दूंगा कि भाई मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूं. तो always say I'll get back to you no later than next week. चाहे आप उस टाइम एक दिन एक्स्ट्रा डाल दो, but always say this is definite. Give definite answers that this is what will happen. Listening, we have also talked about, is an amazing skill. Listen. When you hear the word listen, it's an anagram because so that word can be changed into another word. So I don't know how many of you know, but आप लिख के देखना, try करना. The listen and silent has the same characters. So the word listen को आप re-jumble करो, it becomes silent. So how do you listen? Stephen Covey said in 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, seek first to understand, then to be understood. But what we do all our life, we want to be understood first. I mean, I'm telling you today, if people started listening to other people, if people started giving priority to understanding others first, I mean, 90% people wouldn't have to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Now, how do you listen? Listening has 3 steps. Number 1, listen attentively. Pay attention. Just like think that right now there is no one else in this world which matters other than this person with whom I am talking. That is very flattering. अगर कोई आप खुद सोचो कि आप हम हमेशा बोलते हैं ये मेरी जो दोस्त है ना बहुत अच्छी, क्यों? क्योंकि वो सुनती है, जब आप उससे बात करते हो, they listen without interrupting. Once they are finished, pause before replying. Wait for about 5 seconds. Try this. You will see what a difference it will make. Why pause? Number one, it gives a feeling to the other person that you are going over what they said in your mind before replying. Once again, they feel good. Then, question for clarification. So let me ask you, is this what you are saying? Let them reply, and in the end, paraphrase in your own words. So, all right, so what I have understood is that this is what you are trying to tell me. Once this has happened, only then go ahead and answer or whatever it may be required, and then you expect other people to understand you. Now we come to time management. And I'm sure time management is one subject where probably more books, more training programs have been created as compared to anything else. But today, my friend, in one slide or 2 slides, I'm going to give you the guru mantra of time management. शायद आप में से बहुत से लोगों को पता भी होगा, बट करते नहीं. See, यही तो प्रॉब्लम है ना, पता तो सब कुछ होता है, करते नहीं है. So I just hope that because of today's webinar, some of you will get pushed to do it. And if you get pushed to do it, like I said, your life is going to change. So first, understand one thing. As Dr. Stephen Covey says, आप time manage नहीं कर सकते. Time management is a misnomer. ये hoax है, ये भ्रम है कि मैं time manage करूँ. आप time manage नहीं कर सकते. आप सिर्फ अपने आप को manage कर सकते. You can only manage yourself. If you manage yourself well, time will get managed on its own. Time तो किसी के हाथ में ही नहीं है ना, आप क्या time management करो? So this is Ivy Lee $25,000 method. So there is a story behind it. So there was this guy called Ivy Lee, and later on he became like he was responsible for consolidating all the steel manufacturers in US in the 40s and 50s to create like a conglomerate. Ivy Lee was a productivity specialist. So he went to this one guy who was running a very big company. And he said, I want to train your people to make them more productive or more better or whatever, like a trainer, corporate trainer. And that guy told him, look, we have gone through all kinds of training programs, everything, जो भी हो सकता है, हमने सब किया है. मतलब आप अगर मुझे कुछ बेसिक एडवाइस क्या करना है हमें सब पता है. अगर आप खाली ये बता सको ना कि हम उसको कैसे करें इन अ मोर प्रोडक्टिव वे, देन लेट्स टॉक. सो आईवी ली टोल्ड हिम, एंड दिस इज अ ट्रू स्टोरी, आईवी ली टोल्ड हिम कि मुझे सिर्फ 15 मिनट चाहिए आप. इन दैट 15 minutes he told him that make a list of the 6 most important tasks that you have to do next day. तो रोज शाम को ये बनाना, अभी बना लो कि भाई कल के लिए वो 6 कौन से सबसे जरूरी काम है जो आपको करना है. So he took about 5-10 minutes thinking, वो लिस्ट को लिखा उसने. He said now sequence them in priority. इसमें सबसे जरूरी कौन से? Number 1, number 2. उसको जरा sequence कर दो. Write those 6 in an order of 1 to 6. And he says next day when you start your day, start with number 1. And don't go to the any other task till that is finished. और अगर बाई चांस कुछ ऐसा है कि आपने सब कुछ कर दिया, आप किसी और को कुछ करना है, then it's okay, but otherwise don't do anything else till that task is finished. And then repeat. He says आप सिर्फ ये करो. और फिर अगर आपको लगता है कि my advice has helped you, you send me whatever money that you feel is right. So that guy, after 10 days, sent a check of $25,000 to Ivy Lee. This is like in the 30s and 40s. And he said that this is the most brilliant piece of advice that I have ever got. And there is no better thing to understand about time management as compared to this. क्योंकि आप समझो, हो सकता है आपका एक ही काम हो उस दिन, बट सबसे जरूरी काम हो गया. हम क्या सोचते हैं हमेशा जब हम ऑफिस पहुंचते हैं, कहीं भी पहुंचते हैं, कि जो नॉन जरूरी काम है ना, इसको ये रिप्लाई देना है, इसको मेल लिखनी है, इसको वो मैं पहले जल्दी जल्दी निपटा लूं, देन आई विल स्टार्ट डूइंग माय इंपॉर्टेंट टास्क. तो होता क्या है, वो होते होते वो आपका पूरा दिन खाता. Even if you do only one thing in the whole day, but if that thing was the most important thing that you have to do, just imagine how much your productivity will increase. So this is the only thing that you really need to know about time management. Brian Tracy says is eating the frog. Eating the frog मतलब सपोज करो कि आपके नाश्ते में आपने फ्रॉग खा लिया, तो अभी पूरे दिन मतलब हाउ विल यू विल नॉट फील लाइक यू नो लाइक मतलब डूइंग एनीथिंग अदरवाइज. What he says कि आपका जो सबसे डिफिकल्ट टास्क है ना, when you start your day, first complete that task. That's like eating the frog. क्योंकि अगर वो कंप्लीट हो गया तो बाकी अपने आप हो जाएंगे, और वो नहीं भी हुए तो इट डजंट मैटर, क्योंकि जो सबसे डिफिकल्ट और इंपॉर्टेंट था वो तो हुई. Then we come to stress management, which is the fifth skill. Stress is the biggest killer. Mental health, my friend, is a huge, huge problem today. And it is largely about stress. So what is stress management? So the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. अगर हम ये डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कि हमें ये सोच रखनी है या ये सोच रखनी है, that is the biggest weapon against stress. Now, why does stress happen? आप सोचो, go to the base of it. Major stress is due to our impulse, our desire to control. So do this one activity on any day. Take a piece of paper, list down everything that concerns you. एक 10 आइटम की लिस्ट बनाओ कि मुझे ये चीजों की चिंता है, मतलब दिस इज व्हाट नीड्स टू हैपन, मतलब ये मुझे अगर ऐसे हो गया तो क्या होगा, अगर ये हो गया, व्हाट आर द थिंग दैट यू आर कंसर्न्ड अबाउट. और फिर उसको हर लिस्ट में आइटम को देख के अपने आप से पूछो, कैन आई डू एनीथिंग अबाउट इट? इफ यस, पुट अ टिक मार्क. इफ द आंसर इज नो, पुट अ क्रॉस. यू विल सी कि अगर वो 10 की लिस्ट थी तो बाद में सिर्फ 2 या 3 में ही टिक मार्क होंगे. Because 90% of the time we stress over things we can't do anything about. You have to just let go. There is no other option. Stress management is about letting go. जिस चीज को आप कंट्रोल ही नहीं कर सकते हो उसको जाने दो, अब जो होगा होगा, बट जो है आपके कंट्रोल में उसको करो. अगर आप वो करोगे तो स्ट्रेस कम. लेट मी टेल यू समथिंग टुडे, वेरी प्रोफाउंड. दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच आई लर्न. When you worry, अगर आप ये समझ गए मैं आपको जो अभी बताने वाला हूं, तो आपकी लाइफ में स्ट्रेस खत्म हो जाएगी. When you worry, you suffer twice. एक तो आप आज ही सफर कर जाते हो because you are worried about, और दूसरा वो जब अब एक्चुअल में होगा तब आप सफर करो. So why do you have to suffer twice? Only suffer when it happens, if it happens. So action the things that are in your control. And handling incompletion. You know, my daughter, about 7-8 years back, she had a lot of panic attacks, psychiatric issues and things like that. And I showed her to so many doctors, psychiatrists, kuch ho nahi raha tha. And then suddenly I found one online course somewhere and I made her do that course. And 80% of her problem got solved. And this is what they talked about. Incompletion. ज्यादा स्ट्रेस क्यों होता है कि हमारी लाइफ में बहुत चीजें हैं माय फ्रेंड व्हिच आर इनकम्प्लीट. यू नीड क्लोजर. खत्म करो एक चीज को. मतलब इफ यू वांट टू बी स्ट्रेस फ्री, लुक फॉर क्लोजर इन इट. सो इट मेंटली डिस्टर्ब्स यू. आपको शायद कॉन्शियसली ध्यान भी नहीं होता. सो व्हाट आर थिंग्स यू टोल्ड पीपल यू विल डू दैट यू हैवंट डन? आई एम टेलिंग यू, आप सोचना है इसके बारे में कि आपने शायद एक अपने नेफ्यू को बोला होगा 10 साल पहले कि मैं तुमको एसएल वर्ल्ड लेके जाऊंगा, नहीं ले जा सके. आज भी अंदर उसका स्ट्रेस है. यू मे नॉट थिंक अबाउट इट, बट इंटरनली इट क्रिएट्स स्ट्रेस. आपके सबकॉन्शियस में, लेट इट गो, क्लोज। या तो उसको ले जाओ, वो तो अब बड़ा हो गया होगा, या उससे बात कर लो, उसको बोलो कि भाई मैं आप तुमको बोला था, मैं नहीं ले जा सका, अब छोड़ो यार, खत्म हो गई बात। ही विल से, अरे कोई बात नहीं अंकल, फॉरगेट अबाउट, नाउ इट विल गेट क्लोज्ड। Or even if you don't want to talk to somebody else, you yourself decide in your mind, हाँ ठीक है यार, अभी फर्क नहीं पड़ता इसका, let's close this. Once you say let's close this, ना आपके माइंड में वो बंद हो जाता है. So make a list of what are such things. What are your broken contracts or agreements? क्या आपने किसी के साथ कोई अग्रीमेंट किया था, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया था, वर्बली नॉन वर्बली, जो टूट गया, ब्रोकन है, वो भी एक क्लोजर करो। चाहे कुछ भी है, कर सकते हो नहीं कर सकते हो, जो भी है, बट क्लोज इट। टॉक टू दैट गाय, फाइंड अ क्लोजर एज मच एज पॉसिबल। डू यू हैव बोरोड आइटम यू हैव नॉट रिटर्न? क्या आपने किसी से कोई बुक, कोई छाता, कोई चीज उधार मांगी हुई? ऐसे कभी होता है, हम ले आते हैं फिर भूल गए वापस देना। यू डोंट रियलाइज हाउ मच क्लटर इट क्रिएट्स इन योर ब्रेन। याद करो, कुछ है रिटर्न कर दो, या डिसाइड कर लो अब छोड़ो यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, वो किताब पढ़ी रह गई तो पढ़ी रह गई, एटलीस्ट क्लोज इट। जैसे आप ये सेंटेंस बोल दोगे ना, वो क्लोज हो जाए। क्लियरिंग अप अनफिनिश्ड कॉन्वर्सेशन और मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत बार होता है। अरे उसके साथ ऐसा हो गया था, मैं एक दिन बैठ के बात करूंगा, सालों गुजर गए, वो मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग क्लियर ही नहीं हुई। इट कीप्स हिटिंग यू इनसाइड योर ब्रेन। सो ऑल अनफिनिश्ड फिनिशिंग, और जितना भी हो सके एक रोज बना लो भी, चलो रोज में 2 आइटम अगर कुछ ऐसे हैं तो आई विल कंप्लीट। वंस अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, यू डोंट हैव टू इवन टॉक टू एनीवन इफ यू डोंट वांट टू डू इट. All you have to do is think about it in your own mind, decide that it does not matter anymore, let it go. Leadership skills, very important, right? I mean, all of you, chartered account, you are a leader. I mean, you know, a company, when they hire you, a guy, individual person, when they hire a chartered accountant, they look up to you. I mean, you are like, whether you want it or you don't want it, you are a leader, and you should be. People come and do internship with you, articleship, वो तो शायद law ही है, right? It has to happen in that manner. Just imagine कि उनका future आपके हाथ में है. So it is very important for you to be a leader. Now leadership में 2 दिन की training program हो सकती है, but like I said, I'll tell you a core concept, the most important concept. What is leadership? Leadership is like beauty. It is hard to define, but you know when you see it. उसको डिफाइन करना बहुत मुश्किल है, बट वो ऐसे लगता है आपको, यू गेट अ फीलिंग, यू गेट दिस थिंग। जैसे एक ब्यूटी होती है पार्क में कहीं, यू कांट से व्हाट इट, बट यू रियलाइज, अरे वाओ व्हाट अ ग्रेट थिंग इट इज। दैट्स हाउ इट इज अबाउट लीडरशिप। The most important thing to understand about leadership is what is called situational leadership. Every leader needs to shift. Most people think that as a leader, I need to have one style. I deal with everyone in one manner. It doesn't work like that. Leadership has to be situational leadership. It is one of the revolutionary models of leadership. So what is situational leadership? कि जिन लोगों को आपको लीड करना है, वो अपने लाइफ साइकिल में डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस पे हैं, डिफरेंट पड़ाव पे। तो आप सबको एक तरह से लीड नहीं कर सकते हो। तो देयर आर 4 सिचुएशन नोन एज S1, S2, S3, S4. So situation 1, and I'll give you an example. When people join you for articleship, you will understand from there. So situation 1 is called telling. The leader has to tell. This is for people with low competence and high commitment. तो अभी कैसे होता है, आप इमेजिन करो ये सिचुएशन कि आपके यहाँ 2 लड़के आए, एक लड़की आई, उसने आर्टिकलशिप के लिए ज्वाइन किया, जो कि एक जरूरी है, अभी उसने नया नया ज्वाइन किया। उसमें क्या होता है, कॉम्पिटेंस बहुत कम होती है, उनको भी पता नहीं है काम कैसे ठीक से करना, जबकि वो सब कुछ सीखे हैं, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस है। लेकिन कमिटमेंट बहुत हाई है, मैं तो करके दिखा दूं, अरे आई एम रियली एक्साइटेड, बिकॉज उनको आगे काम करना है ना, दे हैव टू आल्सो डू, they have to become a CA, they have to do everything, excitement. With this kind of people, and I'll explain this, एक उसी cycle में मैं आपको explain करूंगा, and it applies everywhere. Here you have to tell, you have to organize, tell what and how, कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, you have to monitor closely. At this stage, this is your role. You can't do more than that. But हम क्या करते हैं, बहुत कुछ इस स्टेज पे करना चाहते हैं, वो नहीं होगा. सेकेंड स्टेज क्या है? कोचिंग. S2. This is for those people who have some competence, some commitment. अब क्या हुआ, वो जो आर्टिकलशिप के लिए आपके यहाँ काम कर रहा है, 3, 4, 6 महीने गुजर गए, अब उसको कुछ कॉम्पिटेंस आ गया, काफी चीजें, वो कुछ चीजें सीख गए, लेकिन अब एक कमिटमेंट नीचे चला गया. हमेशा होगा ना, वो जोश खत्म हो जाता है, अरे यार बहुत काम है, मैंने तो सोचा था ये होगा, ऐसे है वैसे है, बोरिंग है, या जो भी है, मतलब जब डांट सुन ली कुछ बार, तो उसको ये लगता है अभी कमिटमेंट कम हो गया, वो एक्साइटमेंट कम हो गया, लेकिन कॉम्पिटेंस थोड़ी बढ़ गई. इनके साथ आपको क्या करना है? यू हैव टू एक्सप्लेन, यू हैव टू कंसल्ट, यू हैव टू बी लाइक अ कोच टू देम, यू हैव टू सेल देम अगेन. You know why it is so important for you to be a CA. CA is like the guard. I mean, government has entrusted us कि मतलब we have to make sure that people maintain their books of account so that there is no cheating, there is no fraud, whatever. I mean, that you know better. You have to again make them excited. तो यहाँ पे अब एज अ लीडर आपका रोल चेंज हो गया. नाउ इट इज नॉट टेलिंग, दे नो, यू डोंट हैव टू टेल देम व्हाट टू डू, हाउ टू डू. अब वो थोड़े बोर हो गए हैं, लेकिन थोड़ी कॉम्पिटेंस बढ़ गई है, तो आपको अब उनको गाइड करना है, कोच करना है, दोबारा से एक्साइट करना है. द थर्ड सिचुएशन इज S3. ये अब क्या है कि कॉम्पिटेंस उनकी बहुत हाई होगी, सब कुछ मालूम हो गया, कमिटमेंट कभी हाई है कभी लो है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन सिचुएशन. यहाँ पे आपको क्या करना है, उनको फैसिलिटेट, यू हैव टू जॉइन. So you have to listen to them, you have to encourage them, you have to facilitate them. अब आपको उनको सब कुछ सिखाना नहीं है, थोड़ा सा गाइड कर दिया, थोड़ा सा हेल्प कर दिया, उनकी प्रॉब्लम सुनी, उनको फिर एनकरेज किया कि कैसे होना है. दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस. एंड द लास्ट स्टेज इज डेलीगेटिंग. ये उन लोगों के लिए हाई कॉम्पिटेंस, हाई कमिटमेंट. जब उनकी कॉम्पिटेंस बहुत हाई हो जाती है, सब कुछ समझ आ जाता है, कमिटमेंट भी बढ़ जाता है, क्योंकि अभी वो सब कुछ समझने लगे हैं. दे अंडरस्टैंड दे आर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू, यू नो दे आर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू. एट दिस स्टेज यू हैव टू गिव देम फ्रीडम. अब अगर आपने उनको गाइड करना, डायरेक्ट करना, कोच करना शुरू कर दिया, भाग जाएंगे. Now you have to understand that he or she is a star, and you have to give them that space, you have to give them that independence, you have to give them that opportunity to decide, to एक उनको गलती करने का मौका दो, सीखने का मौका दो, एक उनके पीछे पड़ के हमेशा मत रहो. So these are called situational leadership. तो हर स्टेज पे जो आप, जिसको आपको लीड करना है, वो कौन सी स्टेज पे है, उसके बेसिस पे ये डिसाइड होगा कि आपकी लीडरशिप स्टाइल क्या होगा. Now we talk about problem solving skills. ये तो आपके प्रोफेशन के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और लाइफ में हर किसी के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. प्रॉब्लम्स आती रहती है, हाउ डू यू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम, द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स. So once again, I'll tell you the simplest thing, because my aim in each skill is to tell you a core concept, a simple concept that you can start applying. मैंने अभी तक आपको ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं बोला, I have to rush little fast, जिसमें कि आप immediately अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते हैं अपने काम. The biggest problem in solving problem is that people keep trying to solve the wrong thing. They don't identify कि actually problem क्या है. जब तक आप main problem को identify नहीं करोगे, आप उसको solve कभी नहीं कर सकते. So I repeat, the biggest problem in solving problem is that you are solving the wrong problem, and that is why the problem will never go away. So I have learned Abraham Maslow. I mean, he was like a great this thing. He just like completely changed the world by his psychological teachings. I have learned the novice can often see things that experts overlook. जब हम जितने expert हो जाते हैं ना, उतनी हम basic चीजों को ignore करने लग जाते हैं. But जो एक आपको जो latest management theory है worldwide, कि जब आपकी एक, आप अपने clients को suggest कर सकते हो ये, कि जब आपकी एक meeting हो रही हो, if there is a meeting you are happening, call people in that meeting who know nothing about it. So if it's a meeting about marketing and sales, call admin people in that, because they are the ones who are going to ask stupid questions. But when they ask those stupid questions, everybody will think, "Arey, we never thought about this," because they have become so much of an expert that they have started ignoring the basic. So how do you get to know the actual problem? So this is called very simple, very effective 5 whys technique to cure the real problem. What it means, you ask why 5 times, एक के बाद एक के बाद. अच्छा क्या है ये ऐसे हुआ, why did it happen, because of it, so why did that happen, and you will realize this is a rule in 99% cases. By the time you ask the fifth why, you will come to the core problem, and if you solve that problem, the problem will be solved. So I'll give you an example. There was a ship which got stranded in a sea, मतलब वो शोर फंस गया, तूफान था जो भी था, ship got stuck, everybody is panicking, they cannot contact the coast guard, and you know all that kind of scenario happening कि अभी क्या होगा, हम बचेंगे कि नहीं बचेंगे, कोई हमें rescue करने कैसे आएगा, because we can't even send the information, the red alert that we are in emergency. So this one guy was very smart. He said, and he asked the question, why we cannot get rescued? What was the problem? Problem was not the tufan. The problem was कि हम rescue नहीं हो गए. We say why we cannot get rescued. So somebody said because we cannot contact the coast guard. So the next question is why we cannot contact the coast guard. So he says because हमारा radio काम नहीं करता है. He says why is the radio not working? He says because जो capacitor है उसके अंदर lead होता है, वो खत्म हो गया, वो खराब हो गया. So that's why the capacitor is not working, and if the capacitor doesn't work, radio will not work. So he says what else has lead? ये lead मिल सकता है कहीं से? So he's saying pencil has lead. So they immediately borrowed pencils from everyone, whoever had, even in the ship there were pencils. They immediately sharpened it, broke that lead, and put it in the that radio capacitor, and it started working, and they got saved. So the problem was that lead was not. The problem is not that the ship has got stranded or the coast guard or the tufan or whatever. This is what happens most of the time, right? So get to the real problem, and to get to the real problem, ask why 5 times. Now we talk about empathy. So emotional intelligence and empathy, that's like the real soft skill. I mean, you know, the people skills, which is over there. I hope I am doing all right time-wise. I know that I have till 7. I'll try my best to finish it by that. So what is empathy? So let me explain. What most of the time we have sympathy for people. So what is the difference between empathy and sympathy? You should never have sympathy for anyone. It's insulting. Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy is feeling with people. Sympathy is feeling for people. देखो बेचारे के साथ क्या हो गया. I mean, you know, that's a sympathy. Empathy is when you feel with them. I'm sure all of you have heard put yourself in the shoes of other person, but what does that actually mean? तो मैं आपको एक्सप्लेन करने वाला हूं अभी कि किसी की कोई प्रॉब्लम हो गई, कुछ हो गया, व्हाट इज एन एम्पैथेटिक रिस्पांस. और अगर आप ये नोटिस करोगे जब मैं ये बताऊंगा कि ईच वन ऑफ अस डू दिस, एंड दैट्स बैड, एंड यू हैव टू स्टॉप डूइंग इट फ्रॉम टुडे. कैच योरसेल्फ. नाउ यू आर माइंडफुल, नाउ यू आर अवेयर. आप कुछ बोल रहे हो, सोचो नहीं मुझे राकेश जी ने बताया था कि ऐसे नहीं करना, आई हैव टू डू इट लाइक दिस, एंड यू सी हाउ योर रिलेशनशिप्स विल इंप्रूव. सो फर्स्ट, I have been there, and you are not alone. जब किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम होती है ना, वो यही सुनना चाहता है किसी से कि मेरे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ, मैं वहां ऐसे पहुंचा हूं, मे बी नॉट द सेम थिंग बट समथिंग लाइक दैट. यू आर नॉट अलोन, आई एम विथ यू. दैट इज व्हाट दे वांट टू हियर. An empathetic response never begins with at least. And this is what we do 90% of the time. किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम हो गई, कुछ हो गया, एक्सीडेंट हो गया, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, हाथ टूट गया, एंड व्हाट डू वी से? चलो कम से कम तुम्हारी जान तो बची. अरे they don't want to hear that. What nonsense is that? You should never tell somebody कि कम से कम ये, or at least you should be happy that this, or at least I lost my job, and then we say, well, at least you should be happy your husband's job is in. What nonsense is that? Don't say things like that. That doesn't make things better. अगर आपको कुछ भी हो गया, छोटी सी भी प्रॉब्लम, वो आपके लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है, और कोई आपके पास आके बोलता है, अरे सोचो यार तुम्हें तो खुश होना चाहिए कि कम से कम ये तो नहीं हुआ. I mean, you feel like really slapping that person, right? I mean, if you actually think of it. Never try to put a positive spin at that time and try to make things. तुम इसको पॉजिटिवली क्यों नहीं सोचते हो, तुम इसको ऐसे करो, why don't you think that it might have happened for the best? That time it doesn't work. अगर वो खुद सोचेगा, इट इज ओके. ही डजंट वांट टू हियर इट फ्रॉम अदर्स. to make it positive unnecessary. And the worst. Okay, so the correct response is, I don't even know what to tell you right now. I'm just glad you told me and I am there with you. This is the only thing that you should say. A solution cannot make something better. What makes better is connection. हमारी problem क्या है कि we think we are a problem solving machine. कभी भी हमको कोई problem बताता है, हम immediately solution देने लगे. They don't want a solution. They just want you to listen. They just want you to hear and do हाँ, that's it. So उनको कोई solution मत दो, उनको कोई positive spin देने की कोशिश मत करो, and don't say that you should be happy, at least this is what it is. You try this from today, and when you become mindful, you will realize that how many times you actually say this in the entire day to different people. So that's empathy, very important. Decision making, this is just one slide. I am going to give you a mind-blowing formula of decision making today. Once again, something which you can apply immediately. What does this slide mean? I have not written anything here, and let me quickly explain. Understand, decision making is very difficult for most people. They try to delay. Procrastination, what we say, is the biggest productivity killer. But you know what people don't realize? That when you delay a decision, that is the biggest decision. Why are you delaying? Because somewhere in your subconscious mind, you have decided not to decide. And understand, let me tell you something about decisions. There are many kinds of decisions. There are 90-10 decisions. कि 90% ये करना चाहिए, 10% ये करना चाहिए. There are 80-20 decisions. There are 70-30 decisions. Do you agree with me that when a decision is 90-10, 80-20, 70-30, फिर तो कोई problem ही नहीं है ना? Then you take decision very easily. Because वहां पे कोई question ही नहीं है ना. आपको पता है कि यार 90% यही करना है ना. 10% अगर दूसरा है तो उसका तो कोई chance ही नहीं है. So understand, decision making problem never happens in a 90-10, 80-20, even up to 70-30 decision. The problem happens when it's a 50-50 decision. When it's a 60-40 decision, that is where we get confused. We don't decide. It could be as, and this decision making, जैसे आप एक gym में जाते हो, you every day work your muscle, slowly your muscle builds. You have to slowly build your decision making muscles. And I'll tell you how to do it. People decide, in the breakfast, should I have egg, should I have toast? ये भी अभी एक decision. People get so confused. It's a 50-50 decision, right? So understand one thing. Just सोचो, इतनी basic चीज है कि if a decision is 50-50 or 60-40, what it means is that whatever you decide, it doesn't really make a difference. What will happen? अगर बहुत कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाने वाली थी कोई एक तरफ का डिसीजन लेने से, then it would be a 90-10 decision or 80-20 decision. The fact that it is a 60-40, 50-50 decision, it means that it doesn't matter whether you decide this, whether you decide that. No hell is going to break loose. But what happens that when we decide one thing, we keep second guessing. So you decide, no, I'll have toast. Then you keep, actually, better. Actually, if I would have done it, it would have been better. That second guessing is what kills you. So I'll tell you, decide. Because try with 50-50, 60-40 decision. Just decide. Just think one thing and decide. And as soon as you decide, in your mind, think 5 reasons why that is a better decision. नहीं, actually, रोज अंडा नहीं खाना चाहिए. Actually, egg, I should not eat much. Actually, I think I'll becoming vegetarian. Actually, toast is good because it also has complex carbohydrate. Actually, it is whatever it is about any decision. As soon as you decide, immediately think of 5 reasons why that's a great decision and say that, so your conscious mind, subconscious mind is satisfied this decision is correct. You will not second guess yourself, and slowly build this muscle so that you can take bigger decisions in life in the same way. Interpersonal relation. Again, one slide. In one slide, I am going to tell you everything about interpersonal relation. And once again, immediately applicable. Try it from today, tonight, tomorrow, your husband, your wife, your kids, your in-laws, whoever, your clients, your customers, your colleague, try with them. You have to only remember two things. These are called beliefs of excellence. If you have these two beliefs, your life will change. Your relationships will improve tremendously with people. Number one. Everyone makes the best choice available to them at the time they need it. कोई भी इंसान दुनिया में, including you, I mean, you tell me, do you ever decide to do something and you take knowing that this is not the best choice? No. Your perspective may be different. आपका सोचने का तरीका अलग हो सकता है, but you always decide, you always choose the best option available to you at that time in your thinking. So understand, everyone else also does it like that, right? So whenever you are trying to feel bad or shout or get angry at somebody's behavior, tell in your mind कि जब इसने ये ऑप्शन चूज किया होगा या ये डिसाइड किया होगा, इसने भी अपनी तरफ से तो बेस्ट ही सोच के डिसाइड किया होगा, तो लेट मी फाइंड आउट. And number two, second belief of excellence. Behind every behavior, there is an unconscious positive intention. Anybody in this world, no matter what they do, in their mind, there is a positive intention of doing it. I mean, tell me, do you ever do anything knowingly with a wrong intention? Nobody does it. It's not there programmed in human behavior. Unless somebody is like a hardened criminal or somebody like that is a different thing. People don't. Even they, in their mind, they do it with some positive intention. वो आप उसको बोलो गलत है, नहीं है, समाज के विरुद्ध है, वो सब सही है, बट उसके दिमाग में वो एक पॉजिटिव इंटेंशन से ही कुछ भी करता है. You also do it like that. So whenever there is a problem with anyone, somebody said something, somebody did something, ask yourself a question. I told you that we always ask a question, right? So ask yourself this question. What could be the positive intention of this person doing this or this person saying? ये पूछो अपने आप से. ये जो भी किया इसने, जो भी बोला, कुछ भी किया, उसके पीछे इसकी पॉजिटिव इंटेंशन क्या हो सकती है. डोंट से कि इंटेंशन क्या होता है. मिनट यू से इंटेंशन क्या हो सकती है, आपका दिमाग नेगेटिव में जाएगा. यू आस्क दैट व्हाट कुड बी द पॉजिटिव इंटेंशन, and you will automatically see things will start coming in your mind, and then have a discussion with this person. So if you have these two beliefs, I can guarantee you that you will never have an interpersonal problem with anyone. Is it easy to do? No, nothing is easy, but you have to practice. The most important thing is awareness. Once you are aware, once you are mindful of something, you will at least think about. When I told this to my sister, my elder sister, she is about 10-12 years elder to me. मैंने उसको बताया कि देखो ऐसा है, ये सोचो तो. She had some problem with her, this Devrani and all that. Like that. She told me कि राकेश अगर ये कोई कर लेगा तो वो तो भगवान ही बन जाए. ऐसा नहीं है. But we have to keep improving, right? I mean, if you start asking this 10 times when something bad happens, if 5 times you change your behavior, that much better, right? And slowly, but this is the belief of excellence. आप ये कोशिश करो, try करो, आप देखो कैसे आपकी life change होगी. You will never have a fight with anyone. You will never have a problem with. Goal setting. This is my favorite. And this is where I'm going to tell you something which I can guarantee that most people don't, because they haven't thought. The fact is, 95% people do not achieve the goals that they make. First of all, 90% people don't have goals. out of all the ones who have goals, 95% people don't achieve the goal. I mean, you imagine New Year, bus, ab to main itna weight loss kar dunga, ye kar dunga, wo kar dunga, this, that, whatever, it doesn't happen. Why? I mean, when everybody knows that what needs to be done for achieving the goal, then why does it happen that majorly people fail in achieving their goal? There has to be something which everybody misses, right? And this is what I am going to tell you today. And this is what my life's purpose is. मतलब आप सोचना इसके बारे में, then you will realize that what happens. So what is the internal process of achieving a goal? So assuming you have a goal. So let's take an example of a weight loss. So I lost about 20 kgs of weight about 3-4 years back. I was overweight all my life, about 40. I mean, for 45 years, I was overweight, and then I lost 3 years back. So when I was about 8-10-year-old, I had started putting on a lot of weight, and then it continued. And now I lost. I was a chain smoker. I quit smoking. Because once I understood this, I realized it became easier. So what happens? This is all related with something called self-image. Something called identity. What is your self-image? आप अपने बारे में क्या सोचते हो? आप अपने बारे में क्या बोलते रहते हो? What do you keep thinking to yourself? What do you keep saying to you? I am always late for any meeting. I am always like this. I am always, मैं तो ये नहीं कर सकता, मैं तो वो नहीं कर, वो बचपन से प्रोग्राम होता है. So what happens is, so you have a current self. All of you have a self. Everyone has a self. You can't, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि purposely लोग चलो अभी मैं अपनी self image बना, ऐसा नहीं है. Everybody has a self image. What happens is, when you make a goal, in your brain, that goal and your self image has to align. That alignment has to. वो नहीं होता है most of the time. Why? अभी आपने गोल बना लिया that I am going to lose 10 kgs in the next 6 months. I am going to go to gym. I am going to have control on my food. I am going to do this. I am going to do that, whatever. But at the same time, you keep saying, no, it's very difficult for me to control my food. How will I wake up in the morning to like go for the gym? I hope I'm able to do it. I will not be. I will have to really control. Am I trying to say I'm not going to eat chocolate now? Am I trying to say I'm not going to have mithai now? You go to a party, people say, they know I am on a diet. I can't. I have quit this. I have quit that. I have to lose weight. It will never happen. Why? Because what is your self-image? Your self-image is कि मैं तो ऐसा हुई नहीं कि जो वेट लॉस कर सकता है. नाउ अंडरस्टैंड, you, this is slightly complicated, but understand it. You make whatever goal, but your brain, the main goal is your self-image. So now what has happened, your self-image and your goal are disagreeing. This is called cognitive dissonance. It's a technical word. Cognitive means thinking power. Dissonance means एक लड़ाई, एक discord. So there is a discord between the two. You will never achieve your goal because your self-image will be. Because for your mind, the biggest goal is your self-image. So what do you have to do? You have to first create a new self-image. And how do you do that? You have to change your identity. I am telling you today how I lost the weight, how I quit smoking, is because you have to ask yourself कि जो एक इंसान हेल्दी होता है, फिट होता है, लीन होता है, वो कैसा इंसान होता है, उसकी आदतें क्या होती है, वो क्या करता है सुबह से शाम. So he is a person who wakes up early in the morning. He goes to the gym. He never misses going to the gym. He also takes break once a week. He is the kind of person who eats healthy food. He eats on time. Whatever that 5-10 things are, there is a list of the things that person does. कि वो कैसा इंसान है. तो आपको पहले दिमाग में वो इंसान बनना पड़ेगा. You have to first become that person. If you want to lose weight, you have to first in your mind become a thin person. If you want to quit smoking, you have to in your mind become non-smoker. You have to change your identity. I'll give you a simple example. आप सोच के देखना कि आज सपोज करो कि एक कोई बहुत हेल्दी फिट इंसान हो. He eats healthy food. आपने वेट आपको लॉस करना है, आपने डाइट शुरू किया, अभी आप कई चीजें नहीं खा रहे हो, आप एक पार्टी में जाते हो, कोई आपको रसगुल्ला ऑफर करता है, यू से आई एम ऑन अ डाइट, आई कांट ईट दिस. व्हाट विल अ हेल्दी पर्सन से, जो बचपन से ही वो मतलब मैं ये नहीं खा, आई डोंट ईट दिस. If you are a smoker, you have quit, and in a party, you somebody says have a cigarette, you say I can't smoke or I have quit. No, that means आपके mind में self image अभी change नहीं हुई है. What will a non-smoker say? A non-smoker will say I don't smoke. So you have to become a non-smoker first. When people ask you, they offer you, say I don't smoke, I eat healthy, I go to gym every day. This is once that identity is changed, then your goal will get aligned with your new self-image and automatically it will be achieved. So it's not about goal, it's about you, because the problem is we always make goals what are known as want goals or think goals. I want to have this, I want this thing, I want a car, I want this, I want my practice to become so big or whatever. But nobody makes what I want to become goal. But unless you become something, you cannot achieve. So remember, in my TEDx speech, this is what I said, and this is what I believe in, that in life, always remember this, my friend, in life, you will never get what you want. You only get what you become. अगर आप लाइफ में कुछ भी हासिल करना चाहते हो, तो पहले वो इंसान बनो जो वैसी चीजें हासिल करता है. उसकी क्या सेल्फ इमेज होती है, वो कैसे सोचता है, उसकी क्या हैबिट्स होती हैं, पहले वो बनो. When you will become that, then you will achieve. So in life, you never get what you want, you only get what you become. And now I come to the last skill, and you will find surprising reading this. I just need another 10-12 minutes. This is the best skill, most important skill is the skill to learn new skills. We are in the communication age. Skills are becoming obsolete. जो एक 10-15 महीने पहले, 10 महीने पहले, 1 साल पहले एक skill which was prime important is gone today. Chat GPT has come. It has reduced so many other skills, gone for zero. Just take example. The only skill that will not get obsolete in 21st century, my friend, is the skill of learning new skills. When you are in this webinar today, you are learning new skills. You have to keep learning, क्योंकि जो भी आप जानते हो, mark my words, आपकी जो भी skill है आज वो obsolete हो जाएगी 2 साल, 5 साल, 10 साल. So in 21st century, the एक ही ऐसी skill है, there is only one skill which will not become obsolete, and that is the skill of learning new skills. You have to keep learning. And how do you do that? What is important for learning? Number one, should be relevant to your work. You must take learning projects कि मुझे इस महीने ये सीखना है, अभी ये सीखना है. जितना भी टाइम आपके पास कम है, जो भी ऐसी, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम जब हम कुछ करना चाहते हैं, दो सबसे बड़ी हर्डल क्या है कि मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, मेरे पास टाइम नहीं. आई डोंट हैव मनी, आई डोंट हैव टाइम. दीज आर दी ओनली टू reasons for not doing something. And let me also tell you something over there, let me teach you something over there. Try this. Whenever you say I want to buy this but I can't afford it, I don't have money, I cannot buy it, or I want to do this, I don't have time, let me ask you a question. Why you don't have money? Why you have time? Don't have time? Have you ever thought? आपके पास क्यों नहीं है पैसा, आपके पास क्यों नहीं है टाइम? वो इसलिए नहीं है कि आपको चाहिए नहीं. यू डोंट नीड मनी, यू डोंट नीड टाइम, बिकॉज व्हाट आर यू सेइंग? यू आर सेइंग आई वांट टू डू दिस, I want to buy this. To want to do something, to want to buy something, you don't need time, you don't need money. The day you decide that I am buying this, the day you decide that I want doing this, the time and money will come. From where it will come, I don't know. You should never say this from your mouth that I can't afford it. You should never say I don't have time. You should always say how can I afford it. You should always say how can I have time for it. And you suddenly see the minute you say how can I have money, how can I have time, it becomes a goal. And when it becomes a goal, and if your self-image is aligned, you will be able to achieve. So to learn must be relevant to your work, should be immediately applicable. Like what I am teaching you today is relevant to your work. You need it, without which you can't survive. Is it applicable? Yeah, I told you everything. It is immediately applicable. आज आप जब से ये webinar बंद होगा, you can start applying this in your life. And learn from an expert, because when you learn from an expert, you have belief, you have faith that I am learning the right knowledge. And let me tell you, without boasting about myself, in this field, I am an expert. You know what is the true definition of an expert? Many of you in your field, you are expert. जो एक आदमी आपको कोई चीज एक साल में सिखा सकता है, कोई आदमी आपको, जो इंसान आपको 1-2 घंटे में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें सिखा देता है सिंपल तरीके से, वो ट्रू एक्सपर्ट होता है. So whenever you want to learn something, pick up learning projects which are relevant to your work, immediately applicable, learn from an expert. And there are things called learning styles, accelerated learning, because itna kuch seekhna hai, we need to learn fast. We need to have techniques of what is known as accelerated learnings. And all of us have learning styles. We have visual learning, auditory learning, kinesthetic learning. हमारी सबकी एक dominant style. A lot of online assessment. आप Google में search करो learning style assessment, आपको मिलेगा. बहुत simple assessment है. आप वो लो, आपको पता चल जाएगा कि what is your learning style. And you will be surprised. In our brain, we have separate memory for what you see, what you do, and what you hear. I'm sure you didn't know that, but it is. So when you learn in a manner that you use all three, the learning is fastest and you will retain 80%. That is why we always say combine all three. Also you take courses. There are so many courses in speed reading, accelerated learning. ये सब बहुत online अच्छे courses. आप लो जाके Google में search करो, do these courses, because this skill is going to save you. I'm telling you, of learning. So for example, जब आप कोई notes लिखते हैं, हाथ से लिखते, when you write notes in your hand, what happens? See, whenever we write something, ना, we don't realize, but we sub-vocalize the word. वो हम अपने मन में वो शब्द बोलते हैं जैसे जैसे हम लिखते हैं. So that's audited. Because you are writing, it is kinesthetic. You are doing something with your hand. Kinesthetic means doing something with your hand. And when we write something, we visualize in our mind seeing it. So taking notes from hand is the best learning tool because it also, retains. So I don't have any this thing for you here. I'm just saying that you must do these courses, must learn things like that, because then only you can learn, because the most important skill is the skill to learn new skills. Very quickly, in the last 2-3 minutes, just wanted to speak a little bit about our institute. Soft skill training, of course, is a huge potential. I mean, to become a soft skill trainer, everybody needs it. Today, government is making it mandatory for most departments that, sales tax department, income tax department, police department, everywhere that they have to learn soft skills. It's getting introduced in school, college curriculum. It's a noble profession because every time a soft skill trainer does well, everybody else, they become more successful. I personally say that everyone in this world should become a soft skill trainer so that you learn and then you also teach to others. We as an institute, we are the leading brand in the world in image management and soft skill training space. We have students from more than 27 countries across 5 continents. So we have, 14 years we have been in this business. We have more than 5,000 qualified image consultants, soft skill trainers whom we have trained. More than 500 companies and more than 20 lakh lives have been impacted by our alumni. And we have been awarded Asia's top 10 greatest brands, which is over there. If any one of you have an interest in becoming a soft skill trainer from wherever, I just say, so the question is that can you become a soft skill trainer? That is one important question. I am just giving you here one kind of, I am just putting it over here. Your people can decide if they want to kind of give this to you. So this is an assessment where you will be able to kind of, you can even scan this QR code. So this is an assessment which kind of guides you in terms of whether you have in you what it requires to become a soft skill trainer or not. So if any one of you, your association may decide to share this with you, I am still in any case kind of going to give it in the chat. And so this is basically what we wanted to talk about today. Let me just give this assessment and then just I'll take 1 more minute to kind of before we close this session. And of course, if there are any questions, we will take those questions. So I've just given this to the hosting panelists. I mean, if if they feel right, they can share it with the participants. Uh, so
Sure.
so this is basically what we had to talk about. And there was only one last slide, so I don't want to go back to that. Just want to tell you that remember that soft skills are not optional. ये आपकी choice नहीं है. Lot of time people come and ask this question, do I need to learn soft skill? I say you have no choice. The only choice that you have is कि या तो सीखो या सिखाओ. And either you learn or you become a trainer. You have to participate in this industry. Otherwise, believe me, my friend, you are going to become obsolete. And that is why what I said, that learn new skill is the biggest skill. And so with that, I would like to end with thanks to everyone. All of you have been very nice audience, not keep putting things in chat and Q&A and all. But now, if there is time, if there is any question, please feel free to ask. Yes, Shweta ji.
Yeah, thank you. It was a wonderful, eye-opening session. You covered so many things, moral sense of social behavior, corporate behavior, and just a 12 skills. Really amazing to know that it is all about like perception and your self-image, how you create it. It's really wonderful. Thank you. Really, thank you so much. Our chairman, WIRC, CA Arpit Kabra is here now. So I just quickly request him to please interact and address to the participants and all of us.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Absolutely, it was a pleasure to hear you, Mr. Rakesh Agarwal. I think some very important concepts. I think these concepts, of course, thanks to the WhatsApp University and the Instagram University, we keep on listening. But when it is a perspective driven, when it is focused, so the highlight was 12 points that you want to talk about. So these. So everyone was looking up, and therefore I think that is what sets up the tone of a session. I'm sure 100 odd people that were there today, they would have got some value add, and they would have taken up something for themselves. And at WIRC, I think we are focused very, very, very aggressively on soft skills. And overall, as chartered accountants, we are committed towards developing our soft skills, and maybe inviting all of them to indulge into activities so that they could develop their soft skills and explore. So it's all about how do you explore and adapt and excel. So, that is what we are doing over here. So I think very important conversations that we've had today. One thing that I wanted to check with you and ask you was largely so I don't know if that is a typical pattern, but there were slides, there were some points written, you read those points out, and you were just so, I felt somewhere, and you may correct me somewhere, that you were reading those points and then you were just expressing them. So how does that work? Does that help, or is it like this is the point, and probably now we can work on these 12 points for the perspective of
So
audience to
basically
understand.
what happens is, in a presentation, I mean, the slides which are put is more from a participant angle. जैसे हम आज एक movie देखते हैं तो हम कुछ सुनते हैं लेकिन वो एक title भी नीचे आता है. So sometimes what happens, you can't hear or something happens, but you can at least see. I mean, that what is overwritten there. And then of course I explain. I mean, unless I explain, then it's a question of then to slide वैसे भी दे सकते थे. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Sure. So I think in tandem, it always goes best.
Got it.
Of course, I can
think
it's the whole thing without the presentation being there, but it helps the audience, and it can. And
then
plus,
it does help.
You are going to have the recording, and I think you might upload the. So as a result, what happens that they are able to also have more. So there is an X number of people who attend here, but I really don't know what your system is about the recording, but maybe it can reach many more people.
No, it would definitely reach, and I think probably. Perhaps we would love that maybe we could do more of these sessions for a focused audience, and we could have batches wherein we could indulge in so going beyond just these 12 points.
Absolutely.
Maybe how to get these 12 points working for you. How do you practice them? Maybe we could have some sessions where you could we could come. So we do a lot of these. For example, data analysis. We've tied up with a particular institute which does which teaches instant coding, Python, R, and SQL, and more importantly, Power Automation. Now that is a 30 members batch, focused learning, and a very subsidized prices only for chartered accountants. And let me tell you, we've already had more than 100 of those batches already. So much is the demand that the faculties are falling short actually.
No, we
So I
are
think
also trying to work out few things with Shweta ji.
very
Maybe
good.
one of these days I'll come over and meet you as well, and we will see.
Sure. You're most welcome. Most welcome. And I think one of these areas that we want all of our members to actually work extensively and with focus. Perhaps it could be a lab with you all, being there, telling them, how to explore this, how to get this done. Largely, it is an experiential thing that people
Absolutely.
come and keep experiencing and, keep experimenting, and it evolves. But
Absolutely.
with a focused learning, with a focused counselors and the mentors, I think we could do this much more effectively. I think
Absolutely.
with that in mind, more looking forward to having more and more these kind of discussions. And I'm sure all these participants today, they would have had a lovely time. I think this Friday Fundas is therefore, a more sought after program because we always talk about something which is out of the box, something that really would make an impact, but however, most ignored or probably consciously we are not focusing on them. So I think thank you, Rakesh ji, for setting this up for us. I think really there were some takeaways for me as well. Especially the decision making part. The procrastination, the 90-10, 50-50. These are things that people don't realize.
Absolutely.
And the statement that you made that if you are deciding, in fact, if you are deferring, it's that itself is a decision.
It is. That's the biggest decision.
And believe me, that decision is really very, it has a catastrophic impact sometimes. I believe it may just turn over an entire life at one moment can, really change things. So I think very important conversations that we had. And, I'm sure with more and more perspective, more and more participative, they would manifest for all of us. And I'm sure the participants will have a great time. We'll definitely put up this video up for viewing further, and whenever we come down, we'll try and focus on how can we create these sessions in physical format for most of the people who are interested. So friends, thank you for joining. I think it was wonderful, and I'm sure please do share. As Rakesh ji mentioned, you are here, you want to ask questions, please ask those questions. If you have certain doubts, if you want to have a clarification on any conversation that happened, please ask them so that it can stay with you. Perhaps otherwise it will just wipe off. So great work, Shweta madam, for setting this up. Friday Fundas. Congratulations, and thank you, Samrat, for being with us. Over to you, Shweta madam.
Thank you. Really, thank you so much. And thanks to you also for giving this opportunity. Definitely, I already had a lot of discussion with Rakesh ji, and definitely will come up with a good programs as well. So there are some questions in question answers. Can you see Rakesh ji?
Yeah, I see. So basically, okay. So two.
Sorry, I'm just to say, I would love to leave because I'm at Sangli. I'm at a different place, occupied with some new qualifieds over here, interacting with them. But Rakesh ji, I'm trying to take away some message from what you said, and will deliver it over here as well. All right, thank you.
I always say
Have a
the
good
best
time.
way to learn is to teach. So that's
Absolutely, that's the point. That's the point. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Chairman, for joining. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please continue, Rakesh.
Yeah, so actually there is only one question. Other questions are basically not questions, they're just comments. So Avni is saying, can I get to know when next batch starts in Pune? So Avni, for that you will need to get in touch with us. We are into adult learning, so we don't really have a fixed batch schedule. One can join pretty much any time. So once you get in touch with us, we would definitely be able to help you. Prem is asking that how to start conversation but unknown within the same field, CA. So it's the same thing. I mean, so it's basically you have to understand that asking question, you are not only helping yourself, you are helping the other person. It doesn't matter the field, because everybody loves to talk about what they do. Everybody loves to talk about why what they do is so important. So all you have to do is strike up the conversation. The best way to strike the conversation is what kind of work are you doing? And then the next question could be, why did you decide to get into the work that you are doing? I mean, people would love to explain because you are giving importance to what they are doing, and they will get into so much detail, and and then depending upon what they say, you have to just build your next question from there. And like I said.
So wonderful, I think, because we feel that most of the time that if we are going into the conferences, meeting to the even unknown so many friends in chartered accountant, but people hesitant how to start, what
So
to
they are
start,
scared.
something like
So
that.
I think you should only remember that the other people are also as scared as you are. So if you are actually striking up a conversation, you are helping them. And in terms of that, they are also
True.
kind of doing it. And from there, I can quickly give somebody who is known for situations like this 2-3 tips, which is really going to help you a lot. So whenever you have to go to a get together, marriage, wherever where you feel I don't know many people, what will happen? The great tip is go a little early. Because if you go 15-20 minutes early, there is nobody there at that time. You are in the hall. When the first person comes, they automatically come to you and start talking. And when there are only 2 people, it starts talking. And then the third person comes, and it's a human psychology कि वो जहाँ 2 लोग बात करें वो भी वहीं जाके खड़े हो जाए. So slowly what happens, a small group forms. So when other people come, they already think that okay, these are the guys who are talking, and everybody is interested in talking. So this one small tip can really help you really get the conversation going in terms of how the whole thing is happening just by reaching little early. So this is just one tip which I wanted to share.
Yeah. So really, it definitely, I'm very sure this is going to helpful to all the members. And if no questions is there, I think we can close the session.
Absolutely. And thank you so much once again for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much. In fact, we are thankful to you for agreeing to be here today with all of us and sharing your expertise with all of us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.